Ladies and gentlemen, Smoke DZA and Bodega Bamz hitting our stage tonight. Plus, I'm chopping it up with the one and only Terry Crews. My man A-Rap Music is here. Complex is staying open late. I'll play the drop in. Yes, welcome everybody. Welcome to Open Late. My name is Peter Rosenberg. Let's say what's up to my guy in the MPC, A-Rap Music. How are you?
Good.
You had a good week?
Excellent.
Are you ready to make history?
Let's do it, man. Let's make history.
You ready
again.
right now?
Right now.
All right, then A-Rap, give me a beat, man. We are living in the golden era of hip-hop, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. This week alone, Kendrick won a Pulitzer Prize. Can I say that again? For everyone in the back, a Pulitzer Prize, okay? J. Cole has an album dropping tonight. It's his time. Plus Drake, who's been the man for close to a decade, he announced his new album dropping in June. All right, listen. The 80s had Rakim, Kane, P.E., Slick Rick. The early 90s, Tribe, Wu-Tang, Snoop, Nas. The 2000s, Hov, M, Wayne, Ye, Ross, so many more. But today, we still have Hov. We have Eminem. We have Wayne, sometimes. We have Kanye. We have Rick Ross. But, wait for it, we also have Chance, Cole, Kendrick. We have Drake. We have Childish Gambino. We have Nicki, Cardi, Remy. How about the Migos, 2 Chainz, Travis, Future, Vince Staples, Rocky, Ferg, YG, Nipsey, Cudi, Tyler, Earl. Do I have to keep going? Yet all I hear from old heads is that this era is trash. They define the entire genre as like mumble rap. Well, first of all, some mumble rap is actually pretty dope. And second off, if you hate today's commercial hip hop, fine. But guess what? We don't remember the 80s and 90s for Ice Ice Baby and Bust a Move. We remember it for Fight the Power and Protect Your Neck. We've been having this same conversation forever. Everyone thinks their era was the era. And don't get me wrong, hip hop of the 90s is the soundtrack to my life. But right now, there are more great MCs than ever, and those MCs are more popular and successful than their counterparts from any other era. So instead of hating, I'm appreciating the fact that I lived through all of those eras, and now this one, very possibly the golden age of hip hop. Yeah, I can feel the stares, I can feel the vibrations from my Twitter, so let's not waste any time, let's get it started. Make some noise for tonight's panel. Hey, 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 hey. All right, very excited by who we have tonight. First of all, noted Jay-Z stan and red hat wearer, Mouse Jones.
Second arm.
We also have the editor-in-chief of Complex. That's how we had to do it. We had to bring in the big guns. Damien
boss.
Scott. Yeah, the boss. And noted rap mom and a former colleague and now current colleague of mine, plus host of the award-nominated First We Feasts Food Grails, Miss Info.
Wow. You almost choked on that one, didn't you?
That's a lot. All right, Mouse, are we living in rap's golden era right now?
Hell no, you was wilding for that. Like, the golden era to me is that bad boy era where you had Puff, you had Diddy, you had an upcoming Jay.
I gotta stop you right away.
I said Puff and Diddy. I did.
But no, you realize that for me, I can only speak for people like me, and I'm older than you, and Miss Info.
Right.
Puff, the emergence of Bad Boy to people who loved hip hop in 1997 was the end of everything great that we ever loved. So to me, it's just so funny that that's where you start as your golden era.
Well,
I
don't understand how anybody would feel that when he gives you Big, who we just had arguments all day over the timeline when people were like, how dare you not put him in your top 5? So who says that? Like, I think that's crazy.
So your exact golden era would be when?
It would be from, Ready to Die drops in 94?
Yes.
So from 94, and Big dies about 97, so I'm gonna say from 94 to 2000.
Okay.
2000.
All right, editor-in-chief, Damien Scott?
I'm gonna have to agree. Everyone who knows me, everyone who's worked with me knows that my favorite, it's not the best, I'm not saying it's the
Go
best
ahead, just
rap
say it,
album.
man. Don't try to.
Saying my personal favorite rap album, like when I play it makes me very happy, is Harlem World.
My first full listen of Harlem World from beginning to end was last year when Mason Cam got into it. That was the first time that I
You should be embarrassed by that.
Oh, I'm proud.
You should be
I'm
embarrassed.
proud because I was a backpacker college DJ at the time, and while I liked What You Want, Feel So Good to me was literally the epitome of the downfall of hip hop. I was like, oh,
Liv was on there too.
24 Hours to Live was a great song, right? Whatever, it's a good song. But
When it hurt me.
What? He said,
Why-
whatever.
hurt me.
it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. I like Mace. In retrospect, of course, I think I was wrong also.
And if you ask a number of rappers like Eminem and Kanye,
Kanye,
Yeah.
say Kanye, because we know.
they'll all say
Mace.
is my favorite rapper.
Yeah, Kanye also met with Donald Trump. So we need to.
Wow.
Sometimes Kanye's decision makings are questionable.
How we get here?
Okay.
All right, Minnie, what do you think? Could we be living
tweet
through
the hell out of Rosenberg.
Could we be living through the golden era of rap right now?
I mean, the reason why I disagree with these two fine gentlemen is because I choose not to live in the past. And the great thing about this era right now is that I can have everything from every era at any moment all together at once for $9, right?
Yeah.
And
Well
I
said.
think, like, if I think about it, would you really say that this was the golden era if you couldn't also listen to every deep cut Wu-Tang song that you ever wanted to? Would you still think it was the golden era right now if you could not revisit Dark Twisted Fantasy whenever you wanted to? No. If you were only stuck with what came out in 2018, you'd be miserable like they are.
But here's my question.
I'm not miserable.
Hold on, let me.
You're not miserable with...
Damien, go ahead.
So looking at rap and where it was, the grandeur of it all, and seeing like what exactly the genre could do and what it could be, to me, was fully explored during that era. Now we have an era where it's not crazy to see guys like Drake and
You love that era because it was the time in which Mace said, I want to be a superstar. We now live in an era in which rappers who are way more true to the art form of emceeing, like Kendrick and Cole, are actually superstars.
dude, I mean, I was in Children of the Corn. What are you talking
the
about?
Okay, he was in Children. He was in Children of the Corn.
I get what
but let's
Was he
not forget-
freestyling? Was he doing mixtapes? Was he doing all of these things that are very hip hop?
Yeah, of course he did. I'm not saying
Was
Mace
he
isn't-
performing? Was he
Of course,
recording?
guys,
Was
I'm not
he-
saying Mace isn't of the cloth. He's
what-
from the cloth. This man said Harlem World was his favorite album of all time.
It's understandable.
Okay? Kendrick doesn't have a Feel So Good. Cole doesn't. Cole referenced Paula Abdul, and it still wasn't as pop as Feel So Good.
It's not, come on. We're giving, first of all, we're being a little too nice to Cole.
We're being too nice to Cole.
Being a little too nice.
How
to Cole.
dare you on J.
He
Cole
put-
night of all nights?
He put. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. I'm gonna sleep well with the J. Cole album playing or not. I'm still gonna sleep.
So
But
what do you mean we're being too nice to J.
So
Cole?
we give J. Cole this thing where like, he's good, but he's not what everybody's making him out to be. The only reason we're doing that is because that cream of the crop ain't really there. So we put Kendrick up here, and then you put Cole right under him, and that's kind of disrespectful because Kendrick is eons better than Cole. Eons. That's one.
One clap.
This era has
agree
bad.
with that.
bu-
I
this
disagree.
era-
I
This
disagree
era has
with-
bad baby. That's all I'm saying.
So what? I disagree with you in the sense that, well, one, I disagree that Kendrick and Cole are that far apart. I think they are great contemporaries.
I agree with
They
Damien
bring-
on that. And I'm a Kendrick stan, as we all know, but
J.
they are
Cole has a
contemporary.
For Your Eyes Only.
And Forest Hills Drive. What are you talking
But he
about?
has For Your Eyes Only.
Hold on. Do you like? I have a question.
Yeah, Sideline Story.
Do you have a
Moving
quote
on.
from the Kingdom Come album on your arm?
I do.
Okay. Let's just move on.
Whoa,
All right.
that's,
Damien-
whoa.
that should expel you from
What
the
is
conversation.
that?
Got my daughter. It's your beat
Is
shit.
that like meeting Trump?
That song sucks.
Now beat shit up. All right, man.
All right,
man.
Hold on.
All right.
What was your point going to be,
So,
Damien?
my point being that yes, there are more artists that are able to Mia's point, are able to come out and produce music just because the barrier to entry is so
Yeah.
low.
It's much lower.
But I don't think that means that the level of talent, the highs are not as high as they used to be. I do think like Kendrick, Cole, Drake are tremendously talented rappers, and that they, if put back in the day that I consider to be the golden era, I think that they would also flourish. I
Yes.
think that they would.
You think Drake would cook in the golden era?
Yeah, man. If Mace cooked, I
Hey, how
think
about
Drake
this?
would cook.
Yeah.
Drake has.
Mace
Drake would
a
absolutely
street star
cook.
at one point, and that was when that mattered.
Yeah.
That was when you had to live up to your status. You couldn't
But
just.
that
come
wasn't
in-
Mace's steez, though.
But
very clearly.
what-
Hold on,
He
you don't
said-
think you don't
he
think
said-
you don't think Mace is better than Drake, do you?
Do I think he's better than Drake?
Here we go.
You know you could count Mace's hits on one hand. I love Mace.
Whoa.
You count his hits on one
okay,
hand.
now
That's a big hand.
this is
It's a big
like,
hit.
It's a
Drake,
sack hand.
you need 40 people to come count Drake's hits.
We're also talking about. We're also talking about in right now. We're
But
talking
listen,
about.
here's the thing. We all love the people we're talking about, and they all had greatness. Here's my number one point
There's
why.
no quality control now.
But here's why I love now. Of course, there's not as much quality control because the barrier to entry is lower.
Right.
But in this era, artists who back in the day when Minion was writing for The Source would have gotten a deal, they would have gotten a little ad in The Source, they would have gotten their upfront money, but never sold, it would have gotten dropped.
Right.
Those guys now have a fan base that has made them millionaires. There are people touring and doing 5,000 seaters year after year. The Zombies, Flatbush Zombies have never had a radio record, and they live well. Joey Badass has bought his mom a home. He's a millionaire without radio hits. That wasn't possible for generations before that.
but then that's a technology or an evolution or an innovation golden age. It's not
Because for all them, you
necessarily
got
a
a dirt.
music golden age.
But we also have the music.
Like, you see-
we
you see
have
what
as
I'm
many
saying?
we have as many active Hall of Famers right now as we've ever had. With that list I just mentioned.
Who?
We have everyone I just mentioned. We
All
never-
I'm saying is, ask yourself, Rosenberg, if you could not listen to any music that was not made, in the past 4 years, would you still be enjoying hip hop as much?
Hell no.
Especially for you, keep it real with yourself.
No, that's a fair point. Can I keep
Keep it real with yourself.
Real with yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Don't lie to us. Don't lie to me.
That's the first shirt. That should be the first
say
shirt.
it
That's
to
the first
yourself.
shirt.
Keep it real with yourself.
Keep it real with yourself. Print that up. We need to keep it real with yourself shirt. That's a very good question, and let me just say, the truth is, and I know this sounds crazy, while I dig for records on the weekend, I have a jukebox with classics in it, and I'm a nerd. The truth is, most of my time spent driving is listening to Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. It's listening to Kendrick albums. It's listening to Cole albums. It's even listening to Drake.
So you just lied to yourself, right? You just lied
I
to
didn't
yourself.
lie. That's the honest
You
truth.
shouldn't listen to Cole album while driving.
Yo.
Oh my God.
Yo, we gotta.
And-
Yo, do that. Yo, it's
No, I wanna know.
J. Cole night. It's J. Cole night. Don't you do it. All right, guys.
Everybody gonna sleep
It
well
is-
tonight.
It is time.
Tomorrow, will you change your mind? Do you think if
I wake up early, then I'll change
All
my
right,
mind.
enough. It is time to blow up your mentions and mine with a little segment called Major, Mage, or a Pug. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
It is time to blow up your mentions and get super judgy on all the week's news with a segment we call Major, Mage, or a Pug. I'm gonna hit you with a story. If the story is something you love and you think is great, you're gonna say it's Major. If you think it's cool but not great, it's Mage. And if it's Repug, well then it's Repug. So, following her earth-shattering Coachella performance, the internet has been asking, and many other people, by the way, is Beyonce this generation's Michael Jackson? I will start with you, Miss Info. Is Beyonce this generation's Michael Jackson?
Why would we wish that upon her? Like, why would we wish that upon her?
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Okay, are we saying that Michael Jackson is just a code word or synonymous with incredible performer, all around quadruple threat? Like, why would we make her have to take on that mantle, that burden?
I think the question is she the number one superstar on planet Earth?
Yes, absolutely. Does that mean that we need to disown, just trample on Michael Jackson? Why? Why can't I like both of them? Why would I even need to compare them?
Wait, but
They've both done such amazing things, but in totally different eras with different tools.
So you're saying, in other words, what you're saying is Major. You agree with this? You do think she is really that level superstar of right now?
First off, I will never use that word.
I know you won't.
I will never use any of your words.
Okay.
I have never used them.
Keep it real with
And
yourself.
I actively campaign against them.
Damien?
I think the story, I guess, would be Repug because I agree with Minnie. I don't think we should be comparing the two of them. They were in two different eras. Beyonce right now is the biggest star, to me, the most talented performer, has the craziest catalog in terms of like a qualitative run.
Besides Drake, keep going. It's for another show. Mouse, hey Mouse, Mouse.
Can I say what you said was just repug?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week, Mouse. Major, major, a pug. Beyonce is now
Major, and it is true. She bumped him out of here. Like Beyonce is the one.
Bumped him out of what?
Yeah,
out of
like-
the Big Brother house? Like what?
He's off the number. If
Yo, that would be the best Big Brother house of all time.
That would be weird.
dead,
'cause
also.
Michael Jackson's dead.
Yeah,
So if he's in that house, it's a little weird. But she's the number one superstar at this point ever. And I hate
Ever.
right now.
Wait, no. There's not right. There's right now,
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
like-
ever. Are you
that's
saying
like-
she's surpassing
She's number
Michael?
one right now.
But
yes,
she's not
she surpassed Michael.
She surpassed Michael.
Yes. First of all, I didn't think Michael Jackson was a real person because there was at no point was my broke ass and my broke ass family ever going to a concert. Nothing. The most I seen Michael Jackson was at the end of the Free Willy VHS. You remember that? Like that's the most I seen him and was like, yo.
All right.
But the way I judge superstars, and it's gonna sound a little crazy, the way I judge superstars is the way they handle or what scandal is thrown at them. Let's look at what's been thrown at Beyonce. Bad breath, not really being pregnant with Blue.
Yep.
And getting cheated on.
And the elevator.
She didn't do nothing in the elevator.
I'm just
That's a
saying.
Solange
Bad breath.
Jay-Z.
But I'm just. I never heard bad breath. I've heard of the elevator.
What is this?
I never even heard that.
Beyonce, I don't-
I'm not saying that.
Yo, you
I'm
guys,
not saying that.
Who are
the
the bad
words of
breath
Mouse,
truthers?
whatever Mouse is saying, that's Mouse.
Mouse did not say she has bad breath. I've never been that close, but I have
We know.
been in the same hallway, and she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I realized life's different. Life is different.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say Major because to me, no one will ever, the Thriller Michael Jackson moment to me will probably never be matched in terms of the level that it got to, how many people it reached, how good the album was.
Secret album?
But she is the Michael Jackson of right now. I agree with that 100%.
No, she's the Beyonce.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and to
Well
be the
said. Exactly.
Beyonce, and that's different, right? To be Beyonce now is something little girls or boys are going to aspire to be later.
You really couldn't tell I was wrapping up to get to the next subject.
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right, guys. Everyone's favorite internet troll and rapper, Takashi 6ix9ine, called Kendrick's freestyle on Big Boy garbage. And he asked, quote, where is the real hip hop? I'll start with you, Mouse. Major, Mage, Repug.
Repug, man. Every time I want to like this kid, he do and say some dumb shit, man. Like, why? Why would he be the one talking about it? But I get it. Like, he's a part-time rapper, part-time troll. So he has to do both of those equally.
He's a part-time rapper, full-time troll. Let's be honest.
Part-time rapper, full-time troll, absolutely. So he has to do this, like because I know he does not believe that. I know he's not the one saying that Kendrick's not real rap when the lyric we know him for is Blicky got a stiffy.
Fortunately.
That's what we know him. That's what we know him for.
No, you're not even joking.
That's what I know him for. You feel what I'm saying? So
Epic verse.
epic verse.
Bars,
Epic
son,
verse.
bars. All right, Damien, Major, Mage, Repug. Takashi in the comments coming for Kung Fu Kenny.
Repug, I don't. It's not even worth acknowledging to me. I think he's just trolling.
I'm with you 100%.
I just want to know where is real hip hop? Where is it? Has he seen it?
Well,
Where
Kara
does
said
it
the
live?
real hip hop is over here, but at the same time, he also said the real hip hop is over here. So it's hard to know exactly.
In the ether. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an absurd statement. I'm going to say this about Takashi 6ix9ine. It's Repug because I've come to respect you as a troll. And that was so obviously trolling, I didn't even enjoy it. Like, we know, Takashi, I know you. You don't think Kendrick's trash, and you don't think that you know real hip-hop better than Kendrick. All right, guys, give it up one time for tonight's panel. Mouse Jones, Damien Scott, Misinfo. I'm about to sit down with the great Terry Crews, but before that, it's time to visit A-Rab Music. Make some noise. Up, my head. Was one of 2017's Persons of the Year and could verifiably kick my ass. Terry Crews is here.
Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, please, thank you. Nah, I'm thrilled, man. I got to interview you on the radio a while back, and I remember we were all sort of taken aback. And we always thought you were a funny guy, great actor, knew you were an athlete. I think we were all surprised by how easy to relate to that you were, and how personal you were. And on researching you more, I just saw like that sort of seems to be your MO, like pure honesty with everyone. Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. I used to be another person, you know. It's kind of wild. I suffered from that cognitive dissonance thing where, you know, you have two different opposing beliefs in your brain at the same time. And I was one way in front of everybody else and then another way somewhere else. And, you know, I went to rehab, man. I went to a lot of therapy and finally became one person. And dude, it's so refreshing. You're like, wow, this is like, where has this been all my life? Like once I discovered that, and it was about 10 years ago, but once you get into that and you realize, man, I am one guy, I mean what I say, I'm pretty much, you know, forthwith about who I am and what I've been through, man, it's the most refreshing place to be, dude. There's no going back for me.
I think a lot of people probably could relate to this more than they think they can, because if you really look at your story, and again, you've been nothing but forthright about it, you were kind of living a double life. Your wife didn't know who you were completely. And I think this happens in relationships a lot. On the night you decided to let it all out, why that night? Like, why was you like, enough is enough, I'm drawing the line right now?
Well, I mean, the thing was, man, when it was so wild. My wife asked me this one question, and it was like a trigger. She was like, what is it I don't know about you, Terry Crews? Like,
and you've been together at the time, what, like 18 years?
We've
now?
already been together 20 years.
Right.
But the deal is, man, is that, you know, this is the thing with this masculinity thing. The deal is you don't show pain, you don't show weakness, you don't show any bit of vulnerability. And the problem with that is that you can never really be intimate with anybody, because intimacy is when you show all that stuff. But if you never do, it never goes there. And this is why I literally look at one of the reasons why, it's probably a small part of it, but one of the reasons why the divorce rate is at 50%. Because you look at it, because once they find out who you really are, it's like, okay, I'm done. And
the anger's too high at that point, the betrayal's too high. And your wife went through that.
Yes, yeah, she was like, I'm gone.
But you guys just worked through it.
I talked about my, you know, addiction to pornography and the whole thing. And once I needed help for that. And once I realized that I needed to change, like, there was a moment, because, you know, every man in his life at one time or another is a fool, a victim, or a king. And when you're a fool, you do the craziest stuff. You know what I mean? And guys, we operate off pride. So, you know, if somebody's like, I bet you won't do that, you're like, I bet you I will. And it's usually a very foolish thing. And then when you mess up your life, you turn around and you become the victim. Now all of a sudden it's like, man, it was because I was black. It was because this is where I was raised. It was because of you and you and you. And look at my circumstances. And this is the thing: as a victim, you never run out of excuses. Like the table's always
What was yours?
full.
What was your excuse to your wife?
Oh man, look. First of all, I found reasons to blame her. I found ways like, you know what? It was because, you know, you didn't give me enough this, or you didn't do enough. So I felt like I needed. And let me tell you, I realized Terry Crews, felt that just because I was a man, I was more valuable than my wife.
How long did it take to get her back?
Oh my God, years, bro.
Oh, it was years.
Wait, first of all, you gotta understand, you know, she was gone, but then she's like, okay, well, let me look at you. And I went right into rehab, right into the whole thing, but there was always, you know, it's an earning process. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. Our culture right now is all about, I said I'm sorry.
It's so true.
Think about it.
What do you want?
Think about it.
I said sorry.
I said I'm sorry. You know?
But aren't there always people, particularly in Hollywood, when someone makes a mistake, it feels like there's always someone there to be like, let's just blow right past this, let's avoid it, we'll move on, that the media will forget. It's an easy way to go, and really for long-term forgiveness, whether it's with your wife or in a relationship,
Right.
You're almost always better off copping.
But see, but this is the thing too. And see, most of this is copying is a deal where people got caught. That's caughting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really copying. Right. Some people got caught.
You volunteered it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. Hollywood doesn't care if you lose your family. They just don't care. All right, you know, if I've been divorced, they'd been like, oh yeah, we'll just get you another wife. We'll set you up over here. It'll make it look good. You get you another movie. In fact, you have 3 movies now because you don't have to worry about going home. But my thing was, wait a minute, man. Who do I want to be? What kind of man do I want to be? What good is it if you have the hit show, you have all the hype, you're everything, and you're Bill Cosby? You understand what I'm saying? What is that? And let me tell you, man, it's good news. I'm here to give good news to people because this is not a depressing thing. I'm here to say that now, in this day and age, we don't have to do that anymore. This is why I'm leading by example. I tell my story. I don't tell anybody else's story. I'm telling my story to let you know it doesn't have to end up like that. It's a thing where you can share it. You can be it. You know, and I have a lot of guys like, man, he weak, he a punk, because you're vulnerable. But see, this is the thing.
Did it get even worse after you come out and say that you've had someone sexually assault you?
Oh my God. See, when that happened, it was like, oh man, how in the world you gonna let somebody do this?
Well, that's what I heard that. I heard the Terry Crews. No one could go grab Terry Crews' junk. They should die.
Hey man, First of all, if I just come up and hit you in the face, did you let me do it? No.
Right.
You understand what I mean?
That's what assault is.
Mentality and the thinking. But this is the thing about shaming the victim. You know, this is how we deal with these things because, first of all, they're too heinous. They're too heinous to think about. You know what I mean? You don't even want to talk about it because you're like, oh, my mind, you know, my God, somebody would do something like that. So, let's bring it out. But I'm here to say, let's talk about it. Because when you talk about it, you can think it through and you can make it work. And now, as a man, new masculinity says, we can talk about this thing.
Now, speaking of new masculinity, you're in town doing something cool with Old Spice. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been representing Old Spice for 8 years, and we did a thing on Facebook Live called, it was a Contemporary campaign, where we basically did 80 tasks in 80 minutes, and the internet was telling me what to do. I mean, I was like, you know, making guacamole, and I was folding fitted sheets, and I was learning how to give a compliment.
Was that hard for you?
Oh, that was great. No,
I see you being a complimentary guy.
I tell you, I was loving it because this is the deal. It was like men, more than anybody else, face this thing of being put in boxes.
Well, and I don't think it allows you to be. It's hard for us to be good to women when we're in that box ourselves.
Oh my God.
That's what I like about what you do, because your promoting of modern masculinity is essentially what allows us to be compadres with women in this entire Me Too thing.
That's right. That's right.
Like, one is kind of impossible without the other.
Well, I had to show, listen, first of all, what happened to me, it was because the women came forward. I was sitting there like, oh my God, this happened to me. You gotta understand, like when I say PTSD, I was fine. I was like, I'm gonna let it go, I'm good. And then all of a sudden these ladies started coming forward about all their stories. And I was sitting there like, man, and this happened to me, this is messed up. And then what happened was I was looking at my social media and all these guys were calling them hoes and they were dogging them out. They were like, they're just opportunists. These chicks want a payday. I was like, you know that's not right. I knew, I've been in the NFL, I've been in entertainment, and listen, that stuff goes on. And then when it happened to me, I could not, I was sat there and I put 16 tweets. And my whole thing was just to support the ladies who came forward. That's all it was. It wasn't about me at all. But then when I turned my phone off and turned it back on, the world changed.
I gotta be honest, I'm not a big like organized religion or cult guy, but if you wanna start something, I'll join the congregation. I'm here for Terry Crews. But listen, before I let you get out of here, we have a little thing we like to do on the show.
Okay.
Because of my love of music, I know you love music.
I love it.
It's time for digging in the crates.
Uh-oh.
All right, Terry, no matter what city I'm in, first thing I do is go on Google Maps, look up a record store, and go dig. So what we try to do with our guests is show them something that they might have an interest in the crates. So we have a lot of stuff here, but I picked out a few things that I thought you could have something to say something about. This little number right here.
I'm about to bow down every time I look at the cover. First of all, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. Changed my life forever, forever.
How?
I mean, first of all, PE, you know, they woke so many people up to what we could do. Like, before it was like, I hope I could go and ask these people to give us something. PE was like, no, you do it. You understand what I mean? And you were like, wait a minute, we have the power. We can do it. And when you hear that voice, it's like bass, and you're like, my God. Chuck D was like everybody's parent. You know what I'm saying? He was giving you advice, or your big brother that was telling you you could do it.
Yeah.
So
Before everyone woke up,
so powerful.
Chuck D and Public Enemy were already
woke.
awake.
Straight woke.
Yeah, they were woke a long time ago.
Now, I got a story about this.
Kendrick Lamar, damn.
Kendrick Lamar. First of all, you got to understand, years ago, like 2004, BET Awards, I'm walking, and probably a little later than that, but I'm walking with my wife and the whole thing, and I see this little kid in a hat and the whole deal. I'm like, oh my God. I said, I hit my wife, I'm Becky, that's Kendrick Lamar. Now, he had a mixtape out, Section 80. And I said, this dude is the future of hip hop. And now he was like, me? He was like, you know me? I said, bruh, I said, I work out to you. And I said, you are the future. And
How did you already know him? Who would put you on to Section 80?
No, it was just, I always listen to new music. I'm always on it. And I said, and my wife was like, okay, leave the boy alone. But
You're getting weird, Terry.
Yeah, because he was small, and she was like, you're all over him, like, leave him alone. But I was like, no, you got to understand, this dude, his style, everything. And then, let me tell you, what happened was, even last year, he called me up, and we did the These Walls video.
Maybe my favorite song on To Pimp a Butterfly.
Amazing. And he said, man, I remember when you told me that I was going to be the it thing. And he said, I never forgot that, because no one knew who I was at the time. And I was like, wow. It just made it more special. And to see him now on top of the game. Like,
You think one day he could be the best ever?
I think he's on pace. He's on pace to be the best ever.
Listen, I say it all the time. I know.
Yes.
Hey, Terry, thank you, man. This has been a pleasure. Do you have, before I let you go, anything you want to plug and talk about?
Oh, man, again, 80 years of Old Spice, and I've been doing this campaign for 8 years. Check it out. You can get it anywhere right now. Limited edition.
Listen, as long as you want to come by, we will stay open late. Terry Crews, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating 80 years with Old Spice. Thank you so much, man. Yes, and now hitting our stage, performing his brand new record, The Hustle, off his new album, Not For Sale, one of Harlem's finest and my favorites. Make some noise for Smoke DZA, LevyGrey, and Bodega Bamz.
Happy early 420. High as fuck. Not for sale right now. I break bank seals, $100 bills. I be getting to it all day, I ain't trying to chill. No dank, still, quarter be a kill. That's super high without chasing the pill. Niggas ain't real, they ain't in the field. Niggas ain't real, they ain't in the field. If they get jammed, they gon' squeal. Noble like Wendy's if I want a light meal. If I'm on the bill, what's a big fight feel? Really, they ain't safe for frontin', they ain't paying for nothing, dog. If only you could pawn your ice grill. All my niggas get money, it's protocol. Watch those befores ball. If I fuck that package up, they be more appalled. The game got me not feeling shit like Toradol. Gear up, take it to all of y'all. Laugh.
Come on, let's go.
Gotta get this money.
Let's go. Come on.
The director, a fly lecture. The bullshit sidestepper. Seen it coming like, nah, heifer. My gesture, bougie trifectas and Tribeca. Yes, sir, time to rap up. Iceberg big, you can spot him like leopard. Effortlessly killing my track record. Blueprint to the cool shit. I'm that nigga, etc. Cold game served like Federer. Wimbledon, winners win above the head of a simpleton. Pro nigga, I ain't doing beginner things. Name ring, Beijing to menacing.
Come on.
Hey,
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Gotta get this money. Cashier, ring me up. Ring me up. Ring me up.
Come on.
Ring me up. Ring me up. Ring me up. Gotta get this money. Cashier, ring me up. Harlem.
Hey.
No help needed, but help wanted.
Come on.
Behind closed doors, I'm kept dormant.
Yo.
This game sour like a grapefruit. I treat women like liquor, I won't chase you. I keep it brief in case you was wondering this piece. No puzzling heat seat like summer in Phoenix. I'm sunning them, DMC like rushing them. Pop Chris, no rushing them. Show guns, no tucking them. Tan boys be bad boys like puffing them. Glass jaws, I'm snuffing them. Gassed artists, y'all pumping them.
What?
14, carrot ropes, no jumping them. New cars, I jump with them. Old hoes, I'm dumping them.
Whoa, wanna rump with them.
Not a soul, only popping on the gram, that is not a goal. I need hoes and a whole lot of O's. Whole lot of love, bring a whole lot of foes.
Poppy.
Take this lighter and burn ya straight to the ground.
Come on.
As I take
Not for
this
sale in stores
lighter
tonight. 420.
and burn
Smoke
ya
DZA.
straight to the
Let's go.
straight to the ground.
Come on, come on.
Straight to the ground. Straight to the ground. Straight to the ground.
Yeah.
Straight to the ground.
Let's go.
Not for sale, not for sale, not for sale.
Smokey! Bams, what up? All right, guys. What up, man? What up, boy? Yo, guys, first of all, one more time for Smoke DZA. Bodega Bamz. First of all, you may be noticing that the lights behind Webstar are not on right now. Well, actually, guess what?
What?
We have footage of exactly what happened. So take a look back.
Shit.
Here's what happened. Thank you. Webstar wanted us to close early. What can I say? All right. Not for sale. It's out tonight.
Not for sale, not for sale.
Tell us what's special about this album, because you've dropped a lot of great albums, Smokey. The Pete Rock album was incredible. Don't Smoke Rock. Tell us about this one, though.
I mean, not for sale to me was, you know, it was my artist integrity. We're doing what I wanted to do, and I was like not what was popular to everything that's going on out here with, you know, your fads and stuff. So, you know, it's not for sale. I got the homies on there. Got Bams, Levy, Dom, Joey, Ty Dolla $ign, Kaz. Let's go.
So, well, don't say it so quiet. That's a lot of names. All right, hold on. Now, Bams, let's go from one part of Harlem to Spanish Harlem. Poppy, your new album came out last week.
Go get that, please.
And what's tell us about the new album, Miss Flames? Huh? Now hold on. Tell us about the album and how did you have time to do it? Because you're now, you know, you're now truly the definition of Poppy.
Yes.
You weigh 88 pounds. you're on a major TV show. Talk to us about it, but tell us on the album.
I'm trying to be the first Marvel Latino character.
I love it. I love it.
That's why I'm trying to be strong. You know what I mean? But yeah, go get Poppy.
All right, Poppy, appreciate that. Bodega Bamz, Levy, pleasure, bro. Thank you very much.
Shades, get shades.
Smoke DZA's Not For Sale is out right now. One more time, LevyGrey, Webstar, Bodega Bamz, Smoke DZA, and Terry Crews. Thank you guys all for being with us on Open Late. But before we get out of here, just one more last thing for the haters to chew on. There is a ton of great music out right now. And I know this might sound nuts coming from me. The hottest record out right now is Chun-Li by Miss Nicki Minaj. Yes! Chew on that. We'll catch you guys next time. This is Open Late.